because I would rather have 1,000 fans know who I really am than a million fans who are like, whatever, he's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? That's just um, so. I'm bringing this to you this morning in the spirit of authenticity and hoping that it will be of benefit and that you will be able to take some good value away from it because I think it's an important thing to talk about. This year has sucked. I don't know if you've noticed, if you've been reading any headlines anywhere, but this year's been pretty rough for, 500,000 people, maybe more, I don't know. Everyone has suffered in some way, shape, or form. Even those who are pretending they haven't, everyone has suffered. Now, let me be clear. Again, full honesty. I and my family have been extraordinarily blessed in that physically, so far, we have weathered 2020 very well. No one got sick in our immediate, like our household. We had many friends and many family who got sick, but we didn't. Fingers crossed. We're so close. We can just hang on for a couple more months, right? We're so close. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very happy about that. I feel very fortunate about that, and we worked hard to keep it that way. We sacrificed a lot to keep ourselves physically well during 2020 and into 2021. Some of the sacrifice that entailed was, just speaking for me, I won't speak for anybody else, was the consequences to my mental health, which was never stellar to begin with. It's never been awesome, as far back as I can remember. Topic for another time, perhaps. Just know it exists. Just know that's been my thing. Everybody's got things that they need to work out and struggle through, work with, deal with, whatever. Mine happens to be largely my mental wellness, which has never been super good. And this year, being locked in a house together, it hasn't improved. The first thing I want you to know, beyond me acknowledging that that's still more fortunate than a lot of people. Okay, I just want to say that, make sure it's clear. I know that. Well aware. Thank you. Having said that piece and now moving it aside, what I want you to know, in case it hasn't been clear, is that your mental health and mental wellness during the past year plus has probably suffered as a creative, as a writer, as an artist, director, actor, musician, whatever it is you do. I tend to address writers and storytellers, but most artists are storytellers in one way or another. It's been hard. And I'm taking this moment to tell you, if no one else has, or if you don't believe anybody else, please believe me when I tell you, yes, the stress and anxiety you have felt in the past year plus is for real. And even if, like me, you have weathered the storm well, financially, physically, or whatever, good, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not a bad person for doing well in those areas, despite all of the trauma we have experienced in 2020. But chances are very good if you have felt an increase in stress and anxiety, depression, or a decrease in your coping mechanisms to deal with those things in the past year. I get it. I just want you to know that, number one, somebody else sees you and understands, even if the rest of the world, the outside world, doesn't see it because you've learned how to put on the show. I see you, I hear you, and I'm sorry. It sucks. For the people who don't experience that, who don't have, whether it's diagnosed or not, those additional stressors, mental things, it's hard to talk about. It's hard to convince them sometimes that those challenges have physical consequences, but they do. And I just want you to know that. I just want you to know that I see you and I hear you and that I'm sorry. It's been tough. It's been really tough. Today happens to be the day where I have a lot of time to myself, and I don't get many of those days in this past year. They're precious, and I try to use them efficiently. I try to work hard. I make lists. You should see all the whiteboards I've got all over my office here, just stacked with stuff that I want to get done. And then my 3-year-old woke up, and everything was fine for the first 5 minutes. And then suddenly it wasn't. I don't know if you've ever had a 3-year-old, but there doesn't have to be a reason. There doesn't have to be something that went wrong. She doesn't have to get hurt. She can just decide, you know what? Fuck today. I'm going to flip out. And there's nothing we can do. And that's what she decided to do this morning. It's not the first time. Won't be the last. Hell, it happens to all of us. I don't care if you're 3 years old or 30 years old or 83 years old. Sometimes you just wake up and decide, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to flip out today. Okay, I get it. I understand. One of my big challenges, and this is just me, one of my big challenges is when that happens, I've got a very narrow window for it to go away. I've got a very limited space of time to fix that problem. And sometimes it works, and sometimes I'm really, really good at it. Sometimes I get an idea and I'm like, dragon puppet, here we go, and it works, you know? Sometimes it's really, really simple, and she just immediately shifts course, and everything works out fine. No problem. Then there are days like today, where there is nothing I can do, there's nothing my wife can do, there's nothing our son can do, there's nothing she can do, there's nothing the puppets can do, there's nothing Daniel Tiger can do, there's nothing there's nothing we can do. She has just decided, I'm gonna flip out, and it's gonna be for, however many hours it's gonna be. And when that happens, because of my pre-existing conditions, I have a tough time with that. And it kind of tends to ruin my day. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. The ruined days that you experience as a storyteller, as a creative. Because I think as soon as I say that phrase, the ruined days, you know what I'm talking about. They're different for you than they are for me. Maybe you live alone in a studio apartment and you're in your 20s and everything's great, but you know what a ruined day is because of how someone talked to you on the street or at work or in your family. Totally legit. For me, right now, it's been dealing with a 3-year-old who has herself been dealing with a pandemic for a year. Not a good time for child development. So the ruined days happen. You get up, you're ready to go, you're motivated, and you're gonna get the job done, and something ruins it. Those of us who, again, have pre-existing conditions going into a ruined day, those ruined days can be pretty bad. They can be very hurtful and damaging in a number of different ways. We won't go into that this morning because I don't have time. Just know that, yes, it happens. Other people have, a bad day, and it, screws up their day, and that sucks too. Don't get me wrong. That's legitimate. They're all legitimate. Your ruined day is still legitimate. That's what I want to say. Your ruined day is still legitimate. Cool. Now what? So the day's over. It's what? It's 8:20. So the whole day's done? Like, I've got from 8:20 to about 4 o'clock to get things done. But no, I'm not going to get anything done because I've had a bad day. I've had a ruined day. I'm going to let this stop whatever I'm going to do. Yes and no. That's the thing I want to share. There's a difference for me. There's a difference between this sort of bad day and like, I don't want to do anything. I'm so mad, or I'm so depressed, or what. Okay. And this feeling, which I trust is clear in my face and voice right now. I think you can probably hear it. There's a difference between those two types of bad day. The first kind of bad day, I'm just bummed, whatever. Nobody likes me. I don't want, whatever. You know what? Frankly, suck it up. Suck it up. Go do the job. Okay? Play some video games. have some ice cream, do whatever you got to do for an hour, maybe even 2 if you have to. Go for a walk, get some exercise, get the blood flowing, drink some water, put down your cigarettes, put down your wine, clean your system, do the work. Okay? Okay. Then there's this, where you are on the brink, where shit's about to get real, where you're struggling, where it's legit, where all the muscles, right, are tense. The face, the tone of voice, you can hear it, right? That's different. That's legit. That's, if not a crisis, it's next door to one. It's the kind of emotion, it's the kind of moment that could very quickly descend into a crisis if you're not careful. Now, you hopefully have coping mechanisms, whatever they are. I urge you to do them. I have my own. I'm going to do mine, okay? But when it comes to the ruined day, quote unquote, and the list of all the stuff on the whiteboard, all the stuff on the post-it note, all the stuff on the phone that you had intended to get done but got totally derailed because of what happened outside your control and how your challenges met those blocks, those other challenges. I'm not saying this very well. This is what I suggest. Like for me, like my creative day is done. I can virtually guarantee you there is no way I'm sitting down and writing 3,000 more words on my upcoming young adult contemporary serial novel. Serial, serialized novel. Should clear that up. I'm not getting 3,000 more words done on my upcoming fantasy series. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to get 3,000 more words done on my upcoming thriller that I'm really excited about. All that is done for the day. There is no creativity now. I'm in this mode. My creativity is freaking shot. I'll try, maybe later, if things really settle down, I might be able to get some more word count in there, but I'm not planning on it. And that's the thing. That's my advice and suggestion, is very simply, have a backup. It's okay. I'm telling you right now, it's okay if you don't get your writing done today or when you're in this mode, this semi-crisis mode. Forget crisis mode. That's a whole other topic. Crisis mode, you do whatever you have to do to help yourself. Anything, okay? Totally separate. Crisis mode, totally different story, okay? This is next door to crisis. In this mode, my creativity is done. Hopefully I'll get it back in the morning. One of the ways I will get it back in the morning is by maintaining my habit. Have and am constructing a habit where I'm getting up at 4:30, 4:45 in the morning and coming in here and cranking out 3,000 words. And if I don't hit 3,000 words, you know what? That's okay. I still get 1,000 in. That's not bad. That's pretty good. That's 7,000 words a week. Not too shabby. I aim for 3. I'm happy with 1, okay? And the more I do that, the more I stick with that habit every single day, the more the creativity, the more the art, the more the story will be there waiting for me when I get up and wipe all the crap out of my eyes. You know what I mean? Staying with a habit, establishing a habit for your creativity, for the expression and creation of your creativity will go a long way. So if you're not doing that, that's step 1, establish a habit, establish a pattern, establish a place that you always go to. Your brain will learn to turn on when it's time to do the work. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the backup plan. The backup plan is all the other stuff you can do that maybe isn't creative. The great thing about all these whiteboards I've got up in my room, I've even got a handful of handheld whiteboards that I just carry around with me when I'm doing a walk and talk and trying to figure out my next story. Having a backup of stuff that doesn't require creativity. What can you do today to further your goal? Now, this applies to everything. I don't care whether it's exercise or your business or whatever, it doesn't matter. For me, as a writer, what are some things I can do to get done? What are some things I can get done that do not require creativity? Well, there's all kinds of stuff. Maybe I could do some editing. I could do a spell check. I mean, that's a simple thing to do. Just do a spell check. That takes no creativity whatsoever. And hell, maybe in the course of doing a spell check, I'll catch a sentence that makes me go, oh, I could improve that. And I change it. And the next thing you know, I'm off to 3,000 words again. Who knows? But something like that, something non-creative should go on your list. Have a list of things you can do that will help you move the ball down the field, so to speak, move you closer to your goal without necessarily having to write a paragraph or a chapter or a new lick on your guitar or whatever it is. Have something else you can get done because, as you should know by now, and if you don't, well, we'll have another talk about it. If you are a creative, if you are a storyteller, if you are an artist, you are still in business. You are still 100% in business, and there are non-creative business things that maybe you can get done on a day like today. Things you don't have to think too hard about. You know, can you look at book covers and figure out, yep, this is a good book cover and that's not, and clear some space there? Are there outlines you could do? That's still a little creative, but maybe it's your method of outlining is a little bit more technical, and you can get some of that done. You can look up, you can do research. This is a great day to do research because you shouldn't be doing research in the middle of your writing. You shouldn't be doing research in the middle of your creativity because that'll stop you dead. 3 hours go by and suddenly you're vacationing in Costa Rica online, right? Ask me how I know. So research would be a great thing to do when you're in this mode because you don't have to be creative. You can take notes, right? Things like that. Whatever it is for you, have that sort of backup list in your pocket ready to pull out on a day like today where everything went wrong right from the get-go and the creativity is over for the day. Most importantly, though, two things. Most importantly, number one, you have to take care of yourself. That's all there is to it. You have to take care of yourself physically and mentally because if either of those things go, you're done, right? You've been there. You understand. So you have to take care of yourself. That's first and foremost. And if you're in crisis mode, like right now, then for God's sake, stop watching me or stop listening to me and go call someone. Okay? Just please do that. The other important thing, after enduring, you are taking care of yourself, is to keep doing the work. You have to keep doing the work. If you love it, if that's why you get up in the morning, to write a new chapter, to play a new song, to paint a new picture, to sculpt something, to whatever your thing is, to direct a show, whatever, shoot a movie, that's super powerful and super fantastic, and you should treat it as such. Give yourself the respect, not just for what you're doing with the craft and the art, but for the craft and the art in and of itself. Respect the work and do the work. There's a lot of shit jobs that come with the work. There's a lot of tiny little details that need to go into the work for it to be successful. Do those when you can't do the creative part, but don't stop doing it. You need to take a day off because you're in a bad place? Cool, man. Do it. Totally. Go ride a bike. Get outside if you can. Get some sunshine on your face. Do whatever you got to do. If you need a break, totally get it. Take one. But come back and keep doing the work. So today, I have no idea what I'm going to do today, but I've got to check out all these whiteboards and find some things because, like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm not writing anything new today. But I did this. This was part of what I wanted to get done today. I knew I was going to go live. I knew I was going to record my podcast and talk to you about something. This just wasn't what I was hoping to talk about. But I feel better because I talked to you. So that helps. Thank you. Thank you for helping me. I appreciate it. And I think that's it. For this particular live broadcast, keep an eye on these social media pages because I'll be doing a live show tonight with my good friend Danny Hoots talking about young adult literature and young adult fiction. I think that's at 7 o'clock tonight on a Facebook Live. So if you're watching this on whatever social media you're watching this on, keep an eye out. I'm going to be posting links for that later. Should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. And that will be a good night. That will be a good time. I always have a good time doing stuff like that. Yeah, that always helps. That always helps. So, otherwise, keep doing the work. Take care of yourself. I will take care of myself.